this thing on?
Yeah. Hello, Philadelphia. Thanks for coming out tonight. Thank you to the Home Depot. I want to introduce to you the one, the only Sean Fennessey. The original Midnight Boy, Van Lathan.
Philadelphia legend.
Either the king or the prince of Philadelphia, Chris Ryan.
What's up? Are you from Philly? I am.
It's a home crowd for Chris. It's like a home game for you.
Home game.
You're gonna get all the calls from Scott Foster tonight.
That's
Jesus.
right.
CR, we're doing Creed tonight, which came out less than 10 years ago. Usually we like to, at the Rewatchables, we wait a little while, we look at it.
Let it marinate.
Pour it. Pour a nice little glass of wine with it, stare at the wine, stare at the bouquet. Creed is just good right away. It continued to be good. CR.
Yeah.
Why is this such an iconic Philly movie?
I think it somehow just represents the attitude of the city itself, of just this like grinding, like you're sitting under this gray sky, you're running through the streets, you're doing your thing, and you're just trying to like make it to the top of some mountain. Even if it's not the mountain, it's like you're just scratching and clawing your way to a living, to like some kind of happiness. It's just an amazing depiction of like the city's psyche in a character.
I'm seeing CR as Adonis Creed right now. Like the whole movie except CR is Adonis Creed.
That's right.
In more ways than you know, which we'll get into when we discuss here.
Van, what's your relationship with this movie?
I mean, when I first heard the premise, I thought it was going to be stupid as hell, right? Because it doesn't sound like it would make sense to do the movie. There are too many questions at the outset. When did Apollo have time to knock this bitch up? All different types of shit like that. But the movie itself, I mean, it's facts. The movie itself, though, was so unbelievably good. I remember sitting in there about 35 minutes in, I was like, yo, do these motherfuckers got me? I think they got me. And since then, like, it is aged insanely well. Ryan Coogler coming out at that time, Mike, it was like at the perfect time for both of those guys in their careers as well.
How about you, Sean?
It came out at a weird time, actually, for me and you and Chris, which was between Grantland and The Ringer. And so I didn't have to see movies for work. So I just saw it in a movie theater with everybody else. And it was like 3/4 full and just grown men crying in the aisles. Just weeping, like falling to their knees, and people standing and applauding. And it was just a genuinely rousing experience. And like you said, it's still that damn good 10 years later.
I was so nervous because, Van, what's your favorite franchise? Marvel, Star Wars? Like, what if you had to go to, what is it?
Star Wars.
So Rocky is my Star Wars.
Rocky's your Star Wars.
I was never a comic book guy. I was never a Star Wars guy. But Rocky 1, 2, 3, and 4, those were my movies. And then Rocky 5, I don't know if it was the most disappointing moment of my life, but it's like in the top 6. It was just so upsetting, and I just felt like they ruined the franchise.
What upset you about it?
It's terrible. It made no sense compared to the other movies. They made Rocky brain damage. It ends with a street fight. It was just, so it was like, all right, everybody gets a mulligan. And then they came back in the mid-2000s with Rocky Balboa, which it's like, it's okay, right? It's
You're
like,
a little tough on Rocky Balboa.
well, it's like Rocky karaoke. They
You
just
still
kind
had
of hit all
scar
the same
tissue
beats.
from the previous one.
Yeah. So then they announced Creed, and it's like, Stallone's not writing it, but they got Coogler and they got MBJ, and it was like, well, maybe. But I had my guard up, and
Why'd you have your guard up? Because Coogler and MBJ were doing it.
because I didn't.
Why
Why is this movie called Creed?
What's going
This
on
is
here?
Rocky's story.
What? And by the way, I thought this, because...
You didn't let me answer.
Oh, go, please.
I've just watched Hollywood fuck this up so many times. And I was actually more nervous for them, thinking, oh man, this is what they're gonna do after Fruitvale. They're gonna try to save this Rocky franchise. And then I actually had MBJ, he came over to my house through the podcast before it came out. And he was so passionate about how good it was and the whole
No big
experience.
deal.
Yeah, it was a little name drop, yeah. I caught him early. But he was so passionate about it. And then I saw the screener and I was like, oh my God, they did it. They pulled it off, and it's even better 9 years later.
I think also Sean's point though about the theatrical experience of this was like, it's like Creed and Top Gun Maverick were like the two in the more recent movies where people were saluting the screen, and it was just like, this was basically like if you combine Field of Dreams with 300, so that you could just cry about your dad all for like an hour and a half, and then punch a wall as hard as you can.
It was a more innocent time, too. Like, if you go back to when this movie came out, there were a few other quote-unquote franchise movies that came out that same year. It was Mad Max Fury Road. It was Jurassic World, which we make fun of now, but think back to when you first saw that. And then it's Star Wars The Force Awakens and Creed. And these 4 big franchise stories from our youths that were getting rebooted, and they were all somewhere between good to amazing. And we were not burnt out on IP, and we were like, hey, maybe when we were 13, we were really cool, and we were really smart.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be weeping in the aisles. So I think that's a part of why we were so open to it.
They released it on the 40th anniversary of the first movie, which I saw in the theater. I was 6 years old, and I did not understand the ending. And we're walking out, I'm like, did he win? What just happened? And had no idea that this movie was going to start the jogging craze, make Stallone one of the biggest stars of my entire life, lead to Rocky 2, which I saw in the theater. And I'm not kidding you guys. People were reacting to Rocky 2 in the theater like they were watching Game 7 of the NBA Finals or something. People were standing up, screaming. It was such a great experience. And then Stallone became, one of the biggest stars probably the last 40 years. Kind of hits a little downturn, gets old. And this Sean turned out to be the Stallone comeback movie. And to the point where we thought he was going to win the Oscar, and then he didn't.
Do you want to talk about that now? Do you want to wait?
We should do it.
Let's do it now.
Because after watching it this time, I'm like, it's kind of a highway robbery that he doesn't get it.
You have to piss somebody off.
Well,
He pissed
yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
Because
That's what it is.
when you look at it right now, there's not a better story of, because you don't get a chance to play the character of Rocky Balboa to come full circle with a character over that many years as an actor. It just doesn't happen that much.
It would be like if after Unforgiven, people were like, nice job, Clint. Good one.
I think Sean, do you agree with the theory the Golden Globes kind of killed it for him?
I think it's a little more complicated than that, but we can talk about that. You mean just the fact that he failed to thank Ryan Coogler and Michael B.
Yeah,
Jordan
so
in his
Sly
speech?
he wins the Golden
I changed my
Globe.
mind. He didn't deserve it.
Sly gives this whole long speech, thanks a bunch of people, and doesn't thank Ryan Coogler, and people got fucking mad. They should have been mad.
He actually did come back out on stage during the commercial break of the Globes, this is a true story, and came back to the microphone and thanked them because he knew how much he had screwed up by not that. He thanked WME like 3 times in this speech and didn't thank Coogler
He was
and
thinking
MBJ.
like mailroom guys. He was like, and then there's Alan in the mailroom.
But I do think it's
There's
deeper.
Adam who works with Alan in the mailroom.
I do think it was deeper than that, though, which is that it's not that he pissed off one person, it's that he pissed off a lot of people. It's that he was historically a very, very hard person to work with, and he didn't win at
You talking
SAG
about
Awards.
Van or Sly?
Well, one of your key inspirations.
Well, when I think about it now, because when I first looked at it, when I first saw it, I was mad because I was like, damn, you ain't gonna forgive these motherfuckers, or thank these motherfuckers. But now I think about it if you're him. Why would I thank you for you making my shit?
This is like when I make the higher learning
It's
movie.
really because like you guys know I never ever bring up race. It's not something that I do. But this is actually one time where it's more old motherfucking shit than just like, because he's like, I invented these motherfuckers. They should be thanking me, or else there would be no Creed, So he blew it, and then he didn't get the Oscar. But I really do think that it was wasn't as nefarious as people made it out to be.
He became the 3rd actor in Oscar history to get nominated for Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor. The other 2
For playing the same part.
for playing the same part. My bad. Al Pacino for Michael Corleone, and Tyler Perry for Medea. No, that's wrong.
You just turned the race back up.
Yeah.
No, my bad.
Yeah.
I had that wrong.
Van was on the side of the white guy for
I
like
was just
2 minutes.
every time you try to do it, they bring you back.
It was Barry Fitzgerald as Father Fitzgibbon in Going My Way in the 40s. Yeah. So anyway, he lost
Let's
to...
not shit on Going My Way, okay? That's a beautiful story of Irish faith.
Is that true?
Yeah, of course it's true.
Okay. He lost to CR's guy, Mark Rylance.
Yeah, that was really pulling for Rylance there.
Bridge of Spies. That category also had Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, Sly Stallone, and our guy, Mark Ruffalo. They knew!
They let it happen, Robbie!
I think worse for me than Stallone not getting nominated was Creed not getting nominated for Best Picture. That's the one that, looking back, it was Spotlight 1, Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, and Room. I'm pretty sure Creed was better than Room. I kind of liked Room, but...
It was between this and Room for this show.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you guys are coming out for Room.
Can I make a special request?
Yeah.
Can Room be the last Rewatchables?
Solo CR pod.
I'll put it down there. Wait, we got to go back to Sly. Sean, you have a thing you love to call the I'm Ready to Love This Guy Again movie.
Do I?
I'm attributing it to you.
Okay.
Burt Reynolds and Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Travolta and Pulp Fiction. When stars that become white hot and it kind of fades, and then they have a little comeback and you're watching them and you're going, God, I love this guy. This one, I think, was the biggest piece of the Sly and Rock because he stripped it down. He wasn't like, he wasn't doing any of that stuff. It's a really good portrayal.
I totally agree. I mean, very similar echo in the Burt Reynolds situation where a lot of people thought he would win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for Boogie Nights and didn't win in part because a lot of people kind of thought he was an asshole. But, you know, Sly just didn't do enough roles like this version, this older
Copland,
Rocky. You know,
Copland was
Copland
another
was
one
one
that
of
we
them,
loved.
yeah, but he's a very good actor. And he never challenged himself in the 90s. He was always taking on action parts that minimized his ability to, honestly, to emote. But when you watch this movie, you see how gifted he is.
I think there's something about this movie that speaks directly to that too. As Rocky went on, the films became more about an expression of his physicality, right? He got super swole, totally natural, I bet. He got super swole, right? And even Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa is a guy who loves boxing, who's like, I want to mix it up with the best guy out there right now. So whether it's Roy Jones or Antonio Tarver, let me get out there and do it. This movie is actually stripped from all of that. You see Rocky at his weakest, right?
Yeah, the series just charts his career, basically. Yeah.
And so, like, in this film, it's all about what the character has actually learned and those scars, and he actually turned the role on its head, which was pretty fucking awesome to see.
The thing that makes this movie work probably is the fact that in some ways he didn't have as much creative authorship over it. I'm sure he had a lot to do with the way those scenes were put together or whatever, but this is the Rocky movie he doesn't write. And he jumps back in for Creed 2 and gets a co-writing credit. But it takes a lot of humility, I think, to just be like, all right, like the only way that this is gonna happen is if these guys make the movie. And he kind of like lets himself go and throws it all into his performance. And I think it's actually like a pretty vulnerable performance in that way.
CR, can you do the Stallone Philly thing for us?
The Stallone Philly thing, like, why is he important to Philadelphia?
Yeah, like where does he rank? What is his relationship with the city
Like
over
next
the
to
last
Jason Kelce,
45
or just
years?
like-
I don't know. Give it to us. Let's hear it.
I think that Stallone, can I be completely honest with you? I think Stallone is like, yours, like, I'm a little bit older than you guys, so I get it like this. Like, Rocky is just like a step too old for me. Like, I love Rocky, I love those movies, but the Stallone Philly iconography, like, I grew up right by the art museum. I've seen that statue more times than I've seen like anything in my life. But there's this like weird relationship with it where it's just like it became like the export of Philadelphia for a while was Rocky. You know what I mean? It was him. But do you associate with him with Philadelphia necessarily?
Wait, what should have been the main export then? Let's dive into this.
Like
Aaron
what
McKee?
movie?
Yeah.
What's that?
Aaron McKee and Eric Snow?
That's right. The Jameer Nelson, Delonte West, St. Joe's team that got jobbed? Yeah.
Let's talk about Coogler.
Just real quick, Philly got real boxers. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure I say that. Shout out, because they got real, Bernard Hopkins could be the motherfucker. They got...
Well, the Philly fighter thing was like one of the biggest pieces of the identity. You just hear that, you know exactly what it is.
Make a fake white boy. Like when it's like the dopest boxing town in all of America. You know what I mean? They got real...
Well, Detroit has a case.
That for like over Philadelphia?
No.
I guess so. I guess they do. I guess they do. New York has a case too.
So Coogler does Fruitvale with Michael B. and takes this over, and a big thing for him was the father-son theme, which I think is one of the reasons this movie endures. Not to get super duper serious, but this is an emotional movie, man. I've seen it a bunch of times, and each time you get choked up, it becomes like the male Steel Magnolias, basically.
Yeah.
There's very few male movies where you're just like, oh man, this one gets me every time. Pollen, it's getting a little dusty in here. Coogler lost his dad right before the filming, and then Stallone had lost his son about a year before, which they end up working into the movie, which we'll talk about later. But want to talk father-son?
You want to talk father-sons with me?
Yeah, with all of you.
No, it's Coogler's superpower is finding these big, obvious stories that we think we know with characters that we think we understand and injecting humanity and personal experience and making them feel real. There's a moment at the end of the movie, right before the 12th round starts, when Rocky's talking to Adonis about how he never thanked his father. And he says, I love you to him. And it's the last thing that Rocky says to him before he knocks down Conlon. And it's like there's a machine that makes tears happen inside of you whenever that scene plays. It's remarkable, whatever it is that they're doing. And that's just great writing, great filmmaking, great acting, And he was 29 when he made this movie, Coogler. 29. Baby. So it's amazing.
Like whenever you're looking at one of these boxing movies, the fighting in the movie is always, an allegory for something that's always like what you're fighting for, right? Even the original Rocky, at the end of the movie, when he loses the fight, he gains Adrian, right? Adrian. So really the fight is for him to access the power of his life. It's for love. It's for all of this. In this movie, Adonis is fighting for his father. He's fighting to be a son. He's fighting to be a part of a family. Like, that's the only reason why he's doing it. He doesn't have to do it. He doesn't share the same hardship. He's fighting for an identity, and that identity is of a son. He gets a father in Rocky. That's very, very important. But at the same time, Rocky gives him his father back because there was a part of Apollo Creed that no one could give Adonis but for Rocky, because Rocky knew Apollo in a very specific way. So when you look at the movie like that, it's about this kid who's going through this incredible journey to have that connection that everybody is supposed to have and that you want.
And then there's like the whole idea of like you're fighting your dad for like the most of your life. Like this idea that you're both trying to become your father but also fight against and resist that image in your head. And like it's basically played out in a couple of scenes throughout the movie, most crucially like when Rocky comes to see him in jail. And that's when Adonis kind of finally breaks it, but like he refuses to let him in until the fight.
It's also the line that he says that is most critical is it's not just that it's a father and a son, it's a father and an illegitimate son.
Yeah.
And he says to prove that I wasn't a mistake, which is a really powerful idea of a person just not feeling like he's fully a Creed. The idea of what does it mean to be a Creed is what's driving the movie.
But to your point, Sean, like he did that in Black Panther too, where he basically takes a Marvel movie and makes it about these two brothers, right? Like yeah.
I think one of the things that amazes me about this movie is it builds toward him saying, I got to prove it that I'm not a mistake, right? Which is the most succinct way to explain the plot of the movie, but they deliver it in a way where you're like, oh my God, like it's just like a haymaker. He's so good in it. Would you say this is the best he's been in a movie, Van?
Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only Killmonger is got to be right there as well, just because Killmonger is such a force of nature that he overshadows, God rest his soul, our beautiful brother, some of our beautiful brother. I see, not all y'all, but he takes that movie from Chadwick Boseman. So that would be the only thing. But this is the most affecting performance by him for sure.
Chris, it's without remorse for you, right?
It is, yeah. I'm a big Tom Clancy guy.
Well, there's another thing that hasn't aged that well with MBJ because he's so famous now. But you know, he was Wallace, and then he was on Friday Night Lights, and then he was on Parenthood, and it's like, oh man, I'm rooting for the. Every time I saw him, I was like, oh, I'm rooting for this guy. Hope he makes it because I love The Wire. And then Fruitvale happened and became a star. But he still hadn't proven he could carry a movie that was actually going to make money.
Yeah,
and then Creed comes
catapulted
out.
to
Now
it,
it makes sense, but back then we didn't know, and he was able to do it. Sean, are you disappointed that Coogler hasn't made more movies? I mean, the era that we romanticize, where people are cranking them out, you know, making 8, 10 movies a decade, and he's made 2 in the last 9 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we first talked about the movie, it was clear that he's part of a generation of millennial directors, for lack of a better word, that's like Damien Chazelle, Greta Gerwig, the Safdies, all these exciting young filmmakers. I guess maybe Barry Jenkins and Jordan Peele are part of that class too. And
It's a pretty good class, by the way.
amazing. It's very exciting to like movies now and have those filmmakers. But he's made, since this movie, 2 Black Panther movies. I like both of those movies. I really like the first Black Panther movie. I wish he did more. He will do more. He's going to do more. Hopefully more with MBJ.
That whole like generation, the movies you were referring to that came out around this time, it's like, even with Jurassic World, like they were just sucking up indie directors from that world and just putting them right into franchises on their second movie.
I was going to ask you guys, do you think that it's the best jump from Sundance movie to big franchise movie ever?
Wow, great question.
I mean, as a next movie, it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it's,
way
yeah,
up.
it's
Yeah.
got to be, right?
Right.
Because if it doesn't, it seems like some shit that they come up when they was fucking around on Fruitvale, right? Like they shooting dice between takes. Hey, let me tell you something. It would be hard, bro. It would be hard if we picked up the Apollo Creed story with that motherfucker grandson or some shit like that.
Like the only other one that I can think of is Linklater going from Slacker to Days, but Days wasn't a blockbuster.
Yeah, it was.
You know, it's like a cult movie, but it's not like a blockbuster movie.
You know one thing about Coogler though is like, to you guys' point, he really does. He takes all of these movies and puts a lot of himself into them, like a lot. Fruitvale is the story of Oscar Grant. That's from where he's from. This is a very direct story about fathers and sons. And then even with Black Panther goes straight from Baba, tell me about like where we come from directly. Oakland, 1990. He puts a lot of this, and it might not be as easy to crank them out that much if they're that personal to you. He's not adapting a ton of stuff. He might be a little bit more of the reclusive, introspective artist than the guy who gives it, who floods the block all the time.
Yeah, because one of the things I love about Creed is there's pieces of it that almost feel like an indie movie. But then all of a sudden, we're in the ring for 2 rounds with one of the great sports scenes anyone's ever filmed. But then you'll have these scenes where they're just lying upside down, him and his girlfriend. And you're like, this easily could have been a Sundance movie too. I don't know. I wish he made more stuff. $40 million budget for this, made $175 million. Spawned 2 sequels. I liked Creed 2.
We were just talking in the car over here. Creed 3 should have been Creed 2. Like, I think that would have been a better second movie. Like, that story is more compelling, and then you could save Drago for 3.
You made the good point that Creed 3, which is about somebody from
His
Adonis'
past,
past coming back, looking for a piece of his fame and success, is a very common thing that
And that would
happens
have
in the
happened,
second
like,
movie.
right when he popped, kind of.
I like Creed 2 more when I saw it than when it's like on now. I'm like, oh, Creed 2.
Cause you know, it's stupid, right? It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's not that the movie's bad, but fighting Drago's son might be a little too on the nose.
You know whose idea that was?
Whose idea was that?
Sylvester Stallone.
See? He cartooned it again, so that's a little too on the nose. But Creed 3, I actually dug. You know what I mean?
I liked it too.
Yeah, I dug it. I thought it had a lot of twists and turns to it that I wasn't expecting.
Okay. Let's do the categories.
You didn't like Creed 3? The boxing in Creed 3 is good.
Was it necessary?
Was the boxing necessary?
No. Creed 3.
A little bit.
Was Creed 3 necessary?
Is it necessary that we're all here tonight? No,
Yeah, like-
but it's fun.
Was it necessary that you got your heart broken by Rocky V? Like,
I saw it in the Sagertown Mall. Went to visit my buddy Jim Grady for the weekend, who was going to Colgate. I specifically went so we could go see Rocky V, and we reacted like the Detroit Lions fans last weekend after the Sunday game.
God damn.
Are there Lions fans
great.
here?
Do you remember what you did after Rocky V? What did you and Jim do?
We got drunk.
Yeah.
Just didn't understand it. All right, the categories. We on the Rewatchables, we like to go through categories and break the movie down. First one is most rewatchable scene. I love the opening credits with little
Tijuana,
Adonis.
man. You gotta love that. Wait, the credits? Like the
No,
first scene?
I'm sorry. The opening.
Oh, okay.
The opening with the little boy. It shouldn't work as well as it does, and it's great. And I like seeing Felicia Rashad.
It has to work. Like that's
It
one of the
should have gone badly.
It's the one of the only that if that scene doesn't work, the movie it has to work. You have to understand the entire reason why he feels the way he
when
feels.
his fist unclenches.
Yeah.
Has a great Hammer moment too, with the what's the name, and then we see the title of the movie. Bam.
Donnie goes to see Rocky in Adrian's, unless you want to put the Andre Ward scene as the most rewatchable.
Oh, you pick who's next with the car key bet? Yeah.
You put that in? I don't like seeing Donnie get beaten up, but
That scene was
I know it's a good scene, but it makes me
crazy.
sad.
Because that happens, like you're in there, because you know how I be boxing this shit. I got the hand. And just like the moment that you think you're the man, like some 147-pound Mexican jumps in the ring with you and just beats you black and blue. That happens just like that.
Yeah.
Do you bet car keys a lot?
You want what, my 2010 Ford Accord cross court? Okay, you gotta stay.
Next scene, Donnie goes to see Rocky in the Adrian's restaurant. I remember the first time I saw this movie, I was like honestly blown away. It's like an incredible format. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
And Sly trying to figure out, like, wait a second, why does this kid know this stuff? How does he know there was a third fight? Why does he know I didn't call Creed's wife? And him just putting the chess thing together. Him looking at the photo, he's like, oh, it's 10th round. It's just great. It's just a great 4 minutes.
Time takes everybody out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That to me was, when I first saw it, that was the thing that was like a splinter in my brain. Because you're led to believe that Rocky Balboa is like the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. They have to redo the mythology. Rocky has to downplay himself and big up Apollo Creed and that your dad's a perfect fighter, Tom beat him, not me. Like, you have to believe that Rocky can beat anybody at the beginning, and they just turn the whole thing on its ass.
Well, there's a little bit of what we were talking about backstage, which is your Kurt Cobain theory, that Apollo dies young. And Rocky lives into his 70s.
See, now I have to explain the Kurt Cobain theory. I was just saying Justin Timberlake, I can't speak. Justin Timberlake might have been better off just in 2012.
Oh my God!
Just got kidnapped by a UFO or something.
I can't believe
It was just a theory.
Just a
Maybe
theory.
the last 12 years, if he goes out
Do
in
you think that he
2012, we're
would-
like, that guy was amazing.
You think he would be regarded as our Kurt Cobain if he
Yeah,
died?
Kurt Cobain of this generation.
Well, my point is that Apollo died young, so he gets to be remembered as more legendary.
But
It
I
doesn't
think
feel that way.
They do build the mythology in this series, though, that this guy was like Ali. He was one of
He was
the
the best fighter ever,
one.
yeah.
I love the I didn't beat him, time beat him is so good. But then at the end of the scene, we think we find out who won the third fight, which was one of the great unanswerable questions of any sports movie. They have this ding, ding, and they have the fight at the end of Rocky 3, and we never know who won. And Rocky says, Apollo won. I'm not positive I believe
You
him.
don't believe it.
I don't know how to feel.
You think that their mentorship is founded on lies?
No, this Apollo's illegitimate kid shows up at his restaurant and is clearly lost and wants him to train him. And then he's like, hey, who won the fight? Is he going to be like, oh, I knocked your dad out in round 2? Like, no. He's like, oh, yeah, your dad
You
won.
got a glass jaw like your pops.
Yeah.
Go get in the ring.
So I don't know. I don't know if
Look, the scene is so much funnier if it goes like that, though. It's like, who won the third fight?
I beat the
Dusted
shit
that
out of him.
motherfucker off.
I broke his orbital bone. It was amazing. I don't know what do you think happened, Van? You think he was lying or you think he was serious?
I think there's probably a large part of your identity that you can't believe that Apollo could ever be Rocky. So I think that's probably why you have trouble with it. But I think that Apollo probably won. But I have some thoughts later on about what happened after they fought.
Later on, why don't you just do it? All right, save it.
Yeah.
Next scene. It's a short one, but so Donnie moves into Paulie's old room. Thank God it doesn't know Paulie. And
Why didn't we see the robot butler in that room?
Yeah, where was the robot? Was in the closet. And Rocky says, Paulie was my best friend, even though he wasn't so friendly. This is the nicest thing anyone's ever said about Paulie. But then Donnie sees the picture, and it's a picture of Sly and his son, but it's Sly's actual son, and this son had just died, I think, when they were in pre-production of the movie. And if you watch, like, Sly's, like, really, like, barely keeping it together in the scene. And it's like this rare example of, like, real life and the movie just kind of blending together. It's really good. And in the research, it said Coogler was pushing hard to put the picture in, and Sly didn't want to do it. And he's like, let's use it, and convinced him. The next scene is one of the great sports movie scenes of all time. A 2-round fight with Leo and Donnie that they film in one shot. And there are no tricks. What's the cinematographer? Maurice Alberti?
Maurice Alberti, yeah.
Who did The Wrestler and did some other stuff, and then
a lot of independent movies in the 90s, yeah.
And they shot 13 takes of this scene, and they used the 11th, and holy shit, Sean.
It's like the culmination of 75 years of boxing movies. It's everything that they figured out in Robert Rawson movies in the 50s that, you know, Scorsese figured out with Raging Bull, that we saw in the 2000s. It's like, it took a long time to get to a place where you could choreograph what it feels like to be in the ring. But it is the closest that I think you can get to what it feels like to being in the ring for a round with a fighter. 2 rounds, really, with a fighter.
I think that, like, the Tijuana stuff is actually the moment when, like, you're watching this movie where you're like, oh shit, this is for real. Like, this is a real boxing movie. But this scene is like the proof that Michael B. Jordan can do it. Like, there's no cuts. You're just like in it with him, and you're like, this guy is like I believe that he is Adonis. I believe that he is doing this.
And in many ways, it's the most, if you're thinking about Fruitvale Station to Creed, the biggest questions you're gonna have about Coogler's ability is whether or not he's gonna be able to get that stuff right.
Yeah.
And he gets it right to such a degree. He's just like, you know, next level talent. All the boxing in this is absolutely top notch.
It's a really, so you should frame it maybe in the history of Rocky movies too, because I feel like the final fight is a Rocky movie, but that sequence is not a Rocky movie. It feels more like real boxing. It's more tie-ups, counter-punching, not these big swinging strides and huge uppercuts. It's what a match really more often looks like because of the framework. But in the Rocky movies, it doesn't always look that way.
Yeah, it's funny when the first Rocky came out, and it got credit for how good the boxing scenes were, and then you go back and you watch, and it's like the wide shots. You can see all the seats that are empty because they couldn't afford enough extras. He misses some of the punches, and for the time it was good, but it has not held up great. And I think they got better as it went along. I actually thought the Rocky Balboa movie in the 2000s was pretty realistic with Antonio Tarver. This went to a whole other level. I think it's the best ever filmed. And also I love, you know, the way they use the camera where it cuts to Stallone and he's like, now, do it now. And then it cuts back and they catch both punches. And then the guy goes down and then it stays with MBJ. And he's looking over at Stallone. He's like, we got one, Rock. We got one. It's just like, I don't know how they did it. It's like a classic, wait, how the fuck did they do this? Which is like, you know, one of the sweet spots with any movie like this. Next one. This is right in the heart of Philly. The Good Luck Baby Creed scene. It's short, but Donnie gets into a fight with Tone Trump. Do you want to do this now, Van?
Well, I was just texting with him because I was asking him to come up here. I was going to have him just bun rush the whole fucking scene. So he was like, yo, what's up? Yeah, I mean, yo, man, it's pretty obvious if you watch the scene that prior to Adonis coming around that Tone Trump was fucking on Bianca. It's like am I wrong for thinking this?
That hadn't occurred to me, no. No, I'm not trying to be like Quaker about it. It really hadn't occurred to me.
You're joking, of course.
Hey, I really literally.
Oh my God,
yeah.
bro. He does.
That scene is just the most Philly fight. It's just like two guys who suddenly take offense to each other for no reason whatsoever. And you're just like, wait, why is this light middle heavyweight champion punching this rapper in the face?
But there is a reason though.
At a Neo Soul concert. Like,
There is a reason though, because he sees her and he's like, he hits her with a couple of things. How you doing? First of all, the way he's talking to her, man. Talk to my girl in a different way. You know what I mean? And he's like, yo, you don't know nobody no more? And then the way she comes back at him, there's some history there, and then there's something else that happens. He says to him, she goes, look, you better tell him what time it is, because I know you know what time it is. She been around him. She done polished them gats up, bro. She done, you know what I'm saying? She done clean the 9. She knows what's going on. Am I wrong for thinking this?
why do you keep looking at me?
Because you think, I feel like there's history. Is there not history between them?
So I would say it's one of two things. Either there is history or there's a history of him flirting with her and trying to make a history. But it's one of the two. She clearly has some sort of background with him.
Yeah.
But it might not have consummated it.
You don't think so?
I thought he crossed the line.
I don't know. I think he did. He definitely crossed the line. But.
In the world of Creed, is there a file somewhere where Tone Trump has a verse on a Bianca song?
Definitely. Hold on. I just thought of something. Yo, I know why she's losing her hearing. She done heard the 9 bus too many times. It's residual from the 9 bus.
Is that a metaphor?
Nah, she done a bop, 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 bop. And now her shit is losing. Man, shout out to her, man.
It's a great sound effect, works.
Is this pot everything you were hoping it would be so far? Is being called Baby Creed insulting?
I think he's ready to be insulted by absolutely anything at that point.
You
If
can make a case either way.
Hey, did you see the Sixers win last night? You'd be like, fuck are you saying about the Sixers?
I don't know
10
what.
and 72. No problem?
Not the night to bring up the Sixers, Chris. Hey, don't turn on me. I'm trying to protect you guys.
You should see Bill's direct deposit just hit Kuminga's account, so.
Kuminga did not take enough shit for that. It was like he did like a flying Shawn Michaels elbow on him, basically. Next one is the jailhouse combo when Sly's basically apologizing for what he had said earlier, which was not a rewatchable scene, but we're going to talk about it later. And he does the "you hate me, that's what it is," or maybe you're mad with somebody who ain't here and can't defend himself. You're still caught in the shadow, you got to move. It's a really good Stallone monologue, doubling as the Oscar speech.
Yeah, it's the same as the mirror training scene where he's just like, that's the guy you got to fight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't think you're doing enough Stallone tonight. You should do a little more Stallone voice.
It's a long night. I'm trying to pace myself. The training scene with
Hall of
bikes and ATVs.
Yeah.
God damn it, do I get fired up when I watch this. It's so good. I would like the raw cut of Michael B. Jordan without the music, just like going like this and just doing this at a window. It's really good. I like how it's very 2015-ish. It feels adjacent to the 70s Rocky training stuff that we all grew up with, but it's different.
So there's great context for this, which is you may recall as Philadelphians that in 2015, Drake and Meek Mill were beefing.
Wow.
And Drake was very successful at the time as he is now, but Meek Mill tweeted that Drake does not write his own raps.
Quinn Miller.
And then Drake put out like 3 songs in a row that were just very successful. And everybody's like, Drake won. Drake wins again. And then this movie came out and that scene happened. And everybody was like, fuck Drake. Meek Mill is the man.
Do you think that the Billboard charts like reflect that? That everybody was like, fuck Drake?
Not in this room.
Yeah, I know. Some people wake up in the morning and they have like a protein shake and then they get UV rays and then they like do their morning workouts, and I just watched the YouTube clip of this. I watched all the bikes coming out behind him and he just keeps sprinting to stay at the bikes. It's fucking incredible.
Also wins the Kid Cudi Pursuit Happiness Award for Best Noodle Drop.
Absolute
I think Every sports movie that works and is a Hall of Famer has to have a chill scene. I always call it, where you just get like little goosebumps. This movie has a couple of them, but that's like a total chill scene one. It's really good. I love the press conference, the lead up to the fight against Pretty Boy Ricky Hanlon with the, he's going to start shit, and then he calls him, "You're a false creed."
You're a false creed.
Ooh. Gets the trunks from Ma. Gets Rock's pre-fight speech. Comes out to Pac, Hail Mary. The Conlon entrance. All of it's really good.
You know what is another scene that I really liked?
What?
Him shadowing his father when he's watching film.
Oh, in the beginning, yeah.
That's another thing. There's so many scenes in the movie that are just emblematic of the entire film. He's watching them. He wants to be him. He's there. He's not quite there. Him shadowing his father. I love that scene. It stuck out to me a lot when I was watching it on this rewatch.
Then the entire fight's rewatchable. I mean, you can split it in two parts. Round 2 is great. I love Sly when he does the, hey. It's you against you. That's how it usually seems Sly's advice. The opponent doesn't matter. You're the opponent. But then when Creed gets popped in round 11 and then goes to the corner tapping his head in the back, we get the I gotta prove it that I'm not a mistake. You're a Creed. I love you, kid. Fucking great. And then the Rocky theme. They were holding it.
Yeah.
They were getting blue balls. Are you gonna play it? You gonna play it? Give it to me. The Rocky theme. They finally do it.
They're gonna play the theme, Jim. Come on. They're holding it.
And then in classic Rocky fashion, we had to have just a ridiculous ending that I loved, where he knocks him out and we run out of time and either he gets up or the fight's over.
I have some thoughts about that later.
You want to do that now?
No.
Okay. And then last scene on the steps, which is really nice.
Yeah.
What do you have for most rewatchable, CR?
It's by far the Meek Mill training montage and running up the street. It just can't be anything else. I do have some addition, or an addition is the Bianca and Donnie going out for their first date when they go get cheesesteaks, and then they have.
I had that under the category of most Philly thing about this movie. It was like, is this movie Philly enough?
Yeah.
What about a cheesesteak date?
Yeah.
That also won the Big Kahuna Burger Award. Van, what do you have for most rewatchable scene?
Him shadowboxing with his dad, and also just the training montage. That's the mascot scene of the movie.
I also feel like the recreation of 24/7 is incredible.
Yeah.
Of Stuntman versus Pretty Ricky Conlon. I was like, I want to see this fight now. Like,
Yeah.
I was really invested in that storyline too.
I feel like we've talked about this before, but what do you think Liev Schreiber's quote is? Because, like, could we just get Liev Schreiber to do 24/7 for anything? If we had, like, $25,000, would you just be like, Chris Ryan gets up in the morning and checks Twitter? It's a long day.
Can I tell you
now
something?
he's on Hoops Hype.
I really lost a little bit of respect for him. I don't know if anybody in this room.
I know what
You know
you're
what I'm
gonna
gonna
say.
say.
When he was at Hard Knocks?
When he was on Hard Knocks,
Yeah.
and he showed up, and he got off the helicopter, and he fanned out over Aaron Rodgers.
He crossed the beams, man.
And I was
it
like,
wasn't
you're
good.
Liev Schreiber. Get off the camera right now and show some respect. It's just a football player. You narrate football sequences all day long. I thought that was embarrassing.
You're saying me?
I'm a Jets fan.
You say fuck him or Flacco? It's kind of the same thing.
Next category is Would Say. Oh, I have most rewatchable. I have the training
bikes,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Would Sage's the best. I love all the subtle homages to the Rocky series that they do. Just sprinkled through, like, oh, that reminded me of that part of Rocky 1, chasing the chickens. They got like a million of those.
Can I tell you my favorite of those?
Yeah.
In the final scene, Kellerman is doing the color, and he says, just like Balboa, he's going to the body, but just like Creed, he's trying to go upstairs, which is exactly what the
Right.
fight is at the end of the first round.
Yeah. What do you have for Would Sage's best, Chris?
I think I have, like, actually, this is like a small scene, but I love Rocky's resistance to training Creed for like the first third of the movie. And I thought like all of those scenes were really great, but especially at the van when he's helping unload all the restaurant food and stuff like that, bring all the groceries in. But when he finally comes to the gym, he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. You know, like it's just it actually is like a really effective hurdle for them to get over. It really makes the movie really effective.
You got one, Van?
Yeah. Emotionally manipulating women has aged the best. Let me tell you when this happens. So he's outside of her door, right? And he's bamming on her door. He's bamming on her door. He's trying to get her to open the door. She's not going to open the door. And what does he do? Rocky's sick.
To her credit, though, it's not like she's like, oh, come on in then.
She opens the door, you know? It's like, baby, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know damn well my father never loved me. Now we can start the conversation. So when I saw that, I was like, my nigga.
Sean, you mentioned the 24/7.
It's true.
You saying you like picked up some lessons from that?
Nah, I'm like, we had the same teachers. You know what I mean? Like, you can't leave no bullets in the gun when you outside the door. You know what I'm saying? You gotta shoot them all.
You mentioned the 24/7. Trying to move on. I also love that there's a Creed Balboa supercut too on YouTube. Some of the media touches in this are just really smart. But the 24/7, I agree with Sean. It's absolutely perfect. Like they could have. I was ready to watch 6 episodes of that. I love the giant Mighty Mix gym poster that they have. That big blue one. I want that for my house. All the Coogler camera touches. All the little stuff, especially like the upside down, the kiss part, and the cheesesteak, how he's filming them in the booths, and he's filming each one in like a side of the booth. Andre Ward. Is this the peak Andre Ward, Van?
Yeah, so we're talking
2015?
Didn't he win a gold medal?
Well, I'm saying like as a boxer, this is...
He retired undefeated.
Yeah. But I mean...
He won all 3 belts in 2 different weight classes.
But was this when he was at his best, or was that in like 2010? I can't remember.
2015 would have been around the time that Andre Ward, he had 2 back-to-back fights against Sergey Kovalev, and both of the fights were kind of controversial, but that was the guy he had to dispatch. So that would have been around
Didn't he knock out Kovalev in the first one, though?
The first one was a disputed decision. The second one was a knockout, but people thought that the fight was stopped after Kovalev didn't fire back, but people thought that some of the shots were low. But this was probably around the time that he might have been the biggest deal, because those fights were just happening. Yeah, or they were going to happen.
Well, here's a good what's aged the best. Wood Harris as Duke's son.
Yeah.
Wood Harris, who ordered Wallace's death.
Incredible.
In The Wire. As Avon Barksdale. And is now the one who won't train Donnie Creed in Creed.
Stroke of genius.
You're just playing for me at this point. You're just mixing my worlds, and I absolutely love it.
It's like the #1 reason to make a sequel is get more Wood Harris. It's just, we gotta get this guy back in here.
Great Wood Harris. Here's what's aged the best. Sly Stallone was 69 years old when this film was released, which was the same age as Burgess Meredith in Rocky 1.
What?
How about that?
That motherfucker looked 175 and he was a day old. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I like Donnie calling Rock Unc. I thought that was just immediately jumps in on it.
He had some hard years.
Burgess Meredith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked that way in 1954,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he really withered away.
Because he was in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
He looked...
All
He
the
was
time in the
also
world.
on
One of the great
Twilight Zone,
episodes.
But he was in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
You
he
know
was
what I mean?
on something. It's like he looked 275 in.
Yeah, yes.
Everyone smoked back then, though. It was like even 60.
A lot.
That's not why Burgess Meredith looked like
Marlboro
that.
Reds.
I like Conlon's trainer, just in general. I think is really good in this.
Graham McTavish.
And doing the whole, if he changes his name, we have a fight. Just master chess move. What do you think of the 24 jacket MBJ has? And the
Kobe
Nike
jacket?
thing. Yeah, that.
I'll buy it. I mean, I'm not literally buy the
Was that
jacket.
like a limited edition one, or what
Is
was
Kobe
that?
Philly?
Oh,
This was what I was
let's dive
wondering.
into this, everybody.
But Donnie is from California, and Donnie's from LA, so it makes sense that he would idolize Kobe.
Lower Marion.
Yeah.
So this is good. You know, when MBJ came to my house, we did a pod. He told a whole story that's on that podcast about Stallone said, you got to take one in the fight scene. It's like, what does that mean? It's like, you got to take one. You got to actually take a real punch. That's part of the tradition. I took a punch in every movie we did. Carl Weathers did. Mr. T did. Dolph Lundgren did. You got to take one. So they filmed
All
it.
guys I would want to build my future
Right.
career around.
Yeah. So when he gets knocked down in the 11th round, that was when he took the punch. And he gets clocked. And they show it. And he said he saw stars and the whole thing. So.
Did he say you had to take one at the end of the pod?
It's so funny. So anyway, the tradition got kept alive. And then any other What's Age the Best? Because I have two more. You guys have anything else?
No, I think you guys got them all. I mean, I would just say that the fights and the Leo the Lion fight is age the best.
Yeah. I mean, Winkler Chardoff taking a chance on 29-year-old Ryan Coogler to make an Apollo Creed son movie is, in retrospect, a crazy risk.
God, what a
and
fantastic
worked
point.
so well.
Yeah, like the pitch must have been crazy. Like, what a fantastic point.
So Bianca I have as a What's Age the Best because I grew up with these sports movie girlfriends that they were always like poorly written or they always existed to just like throw cold water on our hero or just kind of like Adrian standing at the top of the staircase in Rocky IV. You can't win! And he's like, cool, I'm gonna fight this guy. Thanks for the support. I'm not going with you.
Literally, we could give her the rose from Titanic treatment if we wanted to. I'm in Russia. I was about to call her out a name. I'm in Russia. What are you telling me? I need you, baby. This is the whole thing. It's me and you. You don't know that your brother about to fuck off all my money in the next movie.
Yeah.
It's like,
I have to put up with your loser brother.
yeah, I gotta put up with your loser brother. I took you out of Philly.
You're
You
working
gonna
at a
tell me
fish
I'm
store.
what the hell are you doing? I hate it so much. It's so annoying and bothersome.
Well, she shows up eventually and then plays a pivotal role when he's lifting the giant log seat thing with her, Polly, and Duke.
Now look, now here's the thing. Rocky was in Russia, you know, it was a lot of Brigitte Nielsen's over there. He'd have been wrong if he'd have been like, all right, slide to the side, let me see what's up. I don't like that part.
Anyway, I appreciated that Bianca. Bianca was a real character that they actually tried to put some effort in and had some things to her. We will talk about her Philly accent in a different category, though. And then Tony Bellew as Pretty Ricky Conlon, a real fighter who ended up winning a title a little bit later. But he's in a bunch of categories, but for the most part, I thought he did a pretty good job acting.
He did a good job acting, and it's also like just complete Everton propaganda on the part of Stallone, who's a huge Everton fan. Yeah.
You didn't like that?
I was fine with it, but I noted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
PTI leading in the A block with a boxing match. How many times has that happened in the history of PTI?
Is this a nitpick?
No, it's a what's age the worst? Like it's like PTI.
We're not even in Which Stage the Worst yet. Why are you jumping categories on me?
bothers
You're
you.
just ripping Kornheiser
Come on,
for
Sean.
no reason.
And they should get paid too, just like Liev Schreiber.
Chris, what do you got for Great Shot Gordo for the most cinematic shot? I have two that I thought were...
The Leo the Lion oneer, like the whole tracking shot throughout that first fight. And I actually love the first intro shot of Creed in Tijuana, like taping up his hands.
I like the ATVs in slow motion.
Yeah, it's pretty
Add
cool,
those too.
I got the walkout.
Do you think Gordon Willis would have done anything differently with those ATVs, or?
Probably wouldn't have thought of the slow-mo. The Mighty Mix Gym I had for the scene-stealing location too. All right, so The Vincent Chase Award for Are We Sure This Character Was Actually Good at His Job? Named after Vincent Chase, the star of Entourage who couldn't act. I am giving this to Tone Trump.
Get him on the phone.
Repeatedly calls a professional boxer Baby Creed, hits on his girlfriend in front of him,
Oh, you don't know North Philly.
says, "Welcome to my city, champ." Every single thing he says is provocative, and then leads to, "You're gonna get a VIP pass next to your pops talking to me like that." That is aggressive.
Yeah. That one cuts a little close.
And then guess what? He got punched right in the face.
This is cultural. I tell you, I'm just saying, he don't give a fuck about all of that. Like, if he doesn't care. And really, he threatened his life right there. You know, you take a shot, whatever, but like, he really would not care.
What's his job?
He's a rapper.
So I feel like he's spitting. Like I feel like he's good at his job, right? Like
His job is to just start a fight before his own show with a professional boxer?
Oh, excuse me. Adonis started the fight. Adonis got emotional for no reason whatsoever. The dude actually, he looked at him and said, "Yeah, I'm trying to show you love, whatever." And then at that point, that whole thing is Adonis' fight. I gotta be honest with you. Adonis is very emotional. And he's emotional for 3 Creed movies. He is. Adonis is very emotional.
Who else would you give if he doesn't get it? Who gets Vincent Chase?
This is really easy. It's the ring doctor in the Conlon fight who has a future as an independent neurologist for the NFL. Tap, tap, tap. All right, you're all good.
he gives a look like he knows the cut
Like, he
man
knows they
is
fucking
tapping.
with
He knows, and he still lets him go back out there.
He looks, oh my God.
It's so funny because Coogler's like, just in case you guys think he can see it all, he can't. Like, it's blacked out. They're just like, tap, tap, tap.
That's good. I like it. The Butch's Girlfriend Award for the weak link of the film. I don't like when Rocky turns on Donnie for like 3 minutes there and he says, "We're not a real family. That was just in our heads, kid." It's just out of nowhere and it's mean and I just don't.
He doesn't want to let him
it.
get close, just like he was close to Adrian, though. That it does make sense. He's like, if I let you in, this is gonna hurt you like it hurt me.
But Rocky was for every single Rocky movie was just like a nice guy, and that I felt
think
like
he's being a nice guy in that scene, in a way.
What do you think, Sean?
I mean, he's in an embittered part of his life. He's all alone. Everyone has left him, right? He's in a really sad state, so he's raging. You know, I get it.
You get because you're a Jets fan. You get it. Vane, you like it or you didn't like it?
What?
You like it or you didn't like it?
I like it. It was fine. You know, I mean, Rocky just abandoned his restaurant to train this dude he just met. So anything.
Do you think Rocky is cooking?
I don't know what's going on at the restaurant, but like we don't even see nothing that happens at the restaurant. Like Rocky just leaves the restaurant, so he could turn his back on anybody at any time.
You think the food is any good in that restaurant?
At Adrian's?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it like? Just like
It's gotta
basic
be red
Italian
sauce, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the idea is that Rocky comes out, you take a picture, he signs something for you, you have your pasta with clams.
What would you get, gabagool?
So it's like I got food poisoning last night at Adrian's.
Yeah.
Type
I
of
got this sick
restaurant.
picture with the champ. No.
Yeah. I'm still puking. What's age the worst? The age stuff. We just got to do this now. So we know that Apollo dies in 1985 because the Christmas fight with Drago and Balboa, where Rocky went to Russia and fought for no money. In Rocky IV, which is the most improbable moment in the history of sports movies. No money. Don't even donate to charity. Just let Russia profit from it. So, even if it's summer 1985 for Creed dying at Drago's hands, then that means Donnie's born in 1986, which makes him 29 at the time of this movie. Does that add up for you, Chris?
It does not, but it's not the only thing in this film that somewhat doesn't add up, so it's okay.
Van?
Is it possible that Adonis's mother is a black Russian?
No, because
Wow.
This is the type of bullshit I like to hear.
I think they should have said
literally
it.
went there and found the one motherfucker that they got.
I think they should have probably said it in 2010. Because I feel like Donnie in this movie is like 25.
My only question is, how do we know that fight took place in 1985? The movie came out in 1985, but how do we know that fight took place in 1985?
So you're saying it took place in the future?
Well, I'm saying maybe it took place
In 84?
No, maybe it took place in 88.
Well, is Creed definitively set in 2015?
I guess not, but the kind of music that Bianca plays was like becoming popular like 2014, 15.
I have a
So
take on
that would be
that,
that'd be the hint. All right, Chris, you want to talk about Bianca's Philly accent?
I think it's not the accent as much as the vocabulary. When this first came out and she said Johns, I was like, holy shit, I feel so seen. This is happening in a major mainstream film. And now every time I see it since then, I think Johns has become so popularized and shared throughout the world that like it kind of grates a little bit. There's also the specificity of cheesesteak orders is obviously very hotly debated on the internet. I don't know if do you guys think that Bianca's cheesesteak order is Philly accurate? So that seems like something they could have gotten right really easily by asking a Philadelphian, but
Chris, you were right there. All they had to do was call you.
I don't know.
So what was the right cheesesteak order? What did she do wrong? I really want to know more about
It's
this.
usually whiz, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, and she's just like cheese and mayo. It just seems kind of like she's throwing ideas out there.
Can I say something real quick? So I will say that the filmmakers were probably confused. Because if you ask 10 different people from Philly, they say 10 different fucking things. If you ask them where to go, like, hey, like, so last night I'm on the old Twitter sphere, and I'm like, where should I go? I'm not gonna, so this is what happened. I told Bill this earlier. I was gonna go out and explore Philly at night last night, and people were like, don't do that, you will be killed. and so I actually DoorDashed the cheesesteak last night. And every single...
I like that I went out, but you didn't. Like, I went out by myself to get dinner on the streets of Philadelphia.
We asked different people.
Yeah. We did.
We have different risks.
Your info might be better than mine.
Right. So when I asked different people, and different people were not only telling me where to get the cheesesteak from, different people were telling me what I had to have on it.
Yes.
So I ended up being fucking cheesesteak confused. I didn't know what to do.
You were Justin Timberlocked when it came to
Justin
cheesesteaks.
Timberlocked, yeah. I got it from Ishka Bibbles.
Hey, but see, it's like only 1/3 of the crowd did that. You know, it's just like...
So, more what's age the worst. So Rocky admits that he'd never called Apollo's widow ever again after he gave the speech at the funeral.
Oh my God.
What the fuck, Rocky? I know you had brain damage for like 15 years and then it went away, but you could have like checked in.
What, you're looking at me like I'm not Rocky's
I'm
like...
just upset.
I think like a guy like that, probably big hands, not really good at texting. So he's just like, hey, Marianne, just checking in. How you doing?
Will you
like,
call Eileen when I die? Like, after I'm dead, will you call her and be like, what's going on? How's it going?
I'll be taking over the big picture as was planned out.
Some of Rocky's choices... I mean,
But Rocky-
he turns
Rocky-
his money
Rocky-
over to Rocky 5. He turns his money over to a guy that Paulie knows. It's like, oh, Paulie's got a guy.
So dumb. Well, first of all, isn't Rocky guilty though? Doesn't he feel guilty that maybe he essentially killed Apollo, right?
Listen, Rocky 100% killed Apollo.
She's upset about it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, sister.
Yeah.
She's pissed at your determination here, Bill. She says the reason he's guilty, he isn't called because he's guilty, right?
Because he murdered Apollo?
He feels bad.
He didn't stop the fight.
Yeah.
No damn towel.
I'm aware. Check in with the widow. Hey, how you doing? Merry Christmas.
Do you think you should send cards that's just like, everything's going well at the restaurant?
Just got a new chicken parmesan.
Ed Rendell came in and we like took pictures.
You watching The Sopranos? Pretty good.
Another what's age the worst. This it's like 12 minutes too long, but I also wouldn't cut anything.
Have you
12
ever
minutes,
said-
motherfucker.
20 minutes?
I get the movie is too long thing is your bit.
Yeah.
12 minutes.
It slows down a little bit in the middle, a little bit.
A little bit like, which 12 you want to yank, Bill? Like this one.
I don't know. I just said I don't know where to. You're the one who wants to take Killers of the Flower Moon and shoot in the sun.
It's not just this.
We had a bit of a debate backstage.
Yeah, we had a.
Got uncomfortable.
You missed our. We should do. Did it get uncomfortable?
Not for me.
Not for me.
No,
You
Sean
said,
loves
you said
that.
you want to set
Sean's
yourself
from
on
Long
fire.
Island.
As the Embiid meniscus tear news hit, these guys had like a 10-minute argument about Killers of the Flower Moon versus The Flash. And I was just like, this is...
See,
the
None of
third
this is
circle of
fake.
hell.
This is who we really
This
are.
actually happened.
And I was on Twitter searching LeBron trade because it feels like, yeah, you guys getting LeBron? Do you want him?
CR, LeBron, you want him here?
Bring Butler back?
Bring Jimmy back? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, that would be fun. Oh, see, Jimmy was the perfect Philly guy.
He was.
They really fucked that up.
Bring Simmons back.
This is gonna cause a riot. Any other what stage the worst for you guys?
Yeah, just in general, you don't see a lot of printing out resignation letters and handing them to your boss anymore. It's like overly formal by Donnie. It's like, you can put this in an email, man. Like,
Yeah.
you just got your cubicle. We're not gonna put up a plaque. And I was wondering, we haven't talked about this. It's not like, it's a, I guess, somewhat delicate subject. Do you guys like Donnie dumping out before the fight?
No.
Yeah. It's like one of those things in the movie, you're like, it's humanizing. And then I'm like, I don't need to see this every time I watch Creed.
Disagree.
Good. It's weird because it's not like him and Bianca had been together for 3 years.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, he scares her. She leaves.
Yeah.
She gets right out of the room when she knows it's coming.
Also, one last thing is just Donnie, when Bianca and him are having the fight on the street, which is actually a great scene, the argument that they're having on the sidewalk. He's like 100% honesty from here on out, and that does not play out over the course of the sequels.
Yeah.
He lies to her several times.
One other small thing. Boxing? Where's boxing at right now in the culture of America?
Oh, it's just a what stage the worst?
Yeah.
Interesting is I think it's obviously it's aged poorly since Rocky came out. You could argue that over the last couple of years it's on a small upswing.
I feel like it's as small as it's been in 100 years.
That's definitely true. That's no doubt true. I mean, it used to be, like I could ask you guys right now, I mean, it used to be that like the heavyweight champion of the world was the most popular athlete in the world. So, but
I wonder if they remade this in 2024, would it be MMA and not boxing?
they try MMA movies, and I'll be honest with you, for some reason,
No,
MMA
Warrior's
just
amazing.
isn't
Warrior
as-
Warrior is
is
amazing.
Rocky MMA.
But it's just not. It's a good movie, but it doesn't capture people.
Will you be
like-
watching Roadhouse with Conor McGregor?
I definitely will. I'm excited.
Me too.
I'll definitely, but it doesn't capture people as much as boxing still does. It seems like boxing still has a better story to it.
Was there a better title for this movie? I'm going to say no.
Absolutely not.
All right, it's time. The Stephen A. Smith Hottest Take Award, where we each say a take that we may or may not believe. CR, start us off.
Should this movie be called Wheeler? Don't we just skip the fact that Conlon breaks this guy's jaw and like he doesn't get his shot at the title and there's no retribution for Conlon because he's already going to jail for his gun charge in Everton? So I just feel like there's like a whole like what's Wheeler's like attitude about the fact that this kid slingshots into like the public consciousness and he's like, all I've got is my gold medal and a broken jaw.
That could have been the sequel.
Yeah, I mean for sure.
What do you got, Van?
So I
Oh,
thought
no.
about this when I watched it this time.
Oh, no. Put your seatbelts on, everybody.
It's my hottest take. I think that Rocky and Apollo fucked after the third fight.
I thought I had like a hot take too.
This really
I thought I was
puts
gonna be like, wow,
Wheeler
that's a great
into
one, Sean.
perspective.
I think when I look at the movie through a West I see different things. You know, like there's something between Donnie and Rocky to where there's a thing. He's like, who won the third fight? He won. Yeah, he won. There's something else. Why wouldn't you call for 30 years? Why don't you want to talk to this man's wife?
Broken hearts, yeah.
So it's not that...
There's something else. These guys beating the hell out of each other, running on the beach together. Like, I went back and I watched the scene. There's something happening, baby.
So this is not about Rocky becoming Adonis's father. It's about him becoming his mother.
His mother, exactly. Now you with me? I watched it now and I'm like, there's something that's different. And guess what, guys? I know it's okay. I'm fucking with it. I'm here for it. So that's what I'm saying. That's my hottest take. I think there's something else at work there.
You got applause.
Just let me know. Just let me tell you something right now.
Sean, do we even try to follow that, or do we just move on?
I thought this was good, but I guess it's not. Creed should have won at the end. Like, they should have let him win. And honestly, Rocky should have won at the end of Rocky. And I know that this is part of the mythology now, and everybody thought it was such a bold choice creatively.
Victory, yeah.
But I'm rewatching Creed, and I'm like, just fucking let this guy win. Like, why wouldn't it have felt even better if he had won?
Yeah. I honestly sometimes forget that he loses, because it basically plays it like he wins. You know what I mean?
Right.
It sets up the sequel.
But that's the only reason why.
Yeah.
And doesn't that feel cynical?
My hottest take is not as good as Van's. I think this is the best reboot of a movie franchise ever.
You know, I was asking this.
I don't think anyone's done it better in more ways, like using the history of the movie, keeping a character integral to it, reinventing it, making it feel modern. I don't think it's been done better.
The only thing I was thinking, I had it written down, best legacy sequel of all time. The only thing I would say is Blade Runner 2049, and then also I got the year wrong. Also, Top Gun Maverick. That's the only two that I was thinking about. Like until like Top Gun Maverick.
But the thing is, Top Gun wasn't a franchise. There was one movie, and then it's basically a sequel. They made 6 Rocky movies.
Cobra Kai's good.
Cobra Kai's a good one. Yeah,
that's a good call.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Batman?
Y'all want some mics?
Oh, the Nolan Batmans?
Batman?
The Nolan Batmans. Yeah, maybe.
Which Batman? There's like 30 reboots of Batman.
They're like Dark Knight, I guess.
Y'all just saying shit.
You guys serve drinks here?
Ever since the cheesesteaks, it's like Jerry Springer in here, yeah.
Casting what ifs. So I don't think there's been enough time with this movie yet, because part of what casting what ifs after like 15 years, it's like, oh, Omar Epps was almost Creed, and they start making shit up. We don't have anything yet except for
Meryl Streep was up for Bianca, but couldn't do it.
So you never know what to believe. The reason Felicia Rashad was in this was because Apollo's wife, who was played by Sylvia Meal, she is actually died.
Passed away, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why they had to recast. The Ruffalo Hannah Rubinek Partridge. People. Overacting award.
Don't call me lady!
I love MBJ in this movie, but when he's in the basement and he's like, I'm gonna fight Ricky Hanlon. I'm gonna fight Ricky Hanlon! He dials it up a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah?
The only other one I got is Kellerman. You know, take it down a notch.
Jeez, hasn't he taken enough shit the last year, and now you've turned on him too?
I like Kellerman. It was just like, he's doing maximum Kellerman.
Your Stephen A. Smith hottest take could have been fuck Max Kellerman.
Yeah, that's right. It wouldn't have been Apollo fucked Rocky, but it would have been close. It would have been better
That
than
was a great one. Best That Guy award, Leo's dad, what's his name?
Richie Coster
from Black Hat.
Is he not a that guy?
He is that guy. The craziest thing about that actor, who's in True Detective as well, for the second season, is that guy is from England. How?
What?
That guy is definitely from Philly.
Yeah.
That's
He's
some of the
incredible.
best acting I've ever seen.
That and Graham McTavish, who plays a dwarf in The Hobbit. Yeah. And I'm sure has many other credits, yeah.
This will be fun. The Danny McBride Award for excelling at playing yourself. Our nominees: Wilbon and Kornheiser, Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman, or Tone Trump.
Or
It's a great
Schreiber.
category. Oh, or Liev Schreiber.
So I'm gonna give it to Tone Trump, but at the same time, I feel like Kornheiser, and I feel like they just threw it in there.
I think it's
so
Wilbon
good.
and Kornheiser.
It looked
That
so
is like
good.
an actual PTI
That was
segment.
actual PTI.
Yeah, Kornheiser's getting mad.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's great. All right, Deion Waiters Award for Best Heat Check. Kornheiser Wilbon, eligible. Leo's dad,
When
Felicia
Wilbon is
Rashad.
like, we all make mistakes. Sometimes you fuck a black woman in Russia, you know? It happens.
What are you talking about?
Tone Trump. Who do you have for Deion Waiters?
I got Richie Coster. For Dion?
Yeah, Leo's dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, I got Wood Harris. Wood Harris comes in for 1 second and cuts this motherfucker's whole life apart. Like he's in there, shut up, Creed, go back to LA, rich boy. Like,
But what happens
That's all he does.
if Wood Harris like trains? Like, I mean, don't you think Wood Harris is sitting in like just tatters when he sees what happens to Creed?
Well, I mean, he comes back.
I
And
know,
trains-
yeah.
So but he's just in the scene for one deal and it heats it up.
Is Ricky Conlon eligible for that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's
It's
in
like, my
the movie a
dad
lot,
walked on
though.
the docks.
Yeah.
Your dad is Creed.
It's an incredible Scouse accent. Yeah.
Thank you.
I liked it.
Thanks.
Skipping recasting couch.
Am I in a
'cause it's too
comedy
soon.
club? Yeah.
New category just for the live shows. Not sure if you guys are aware of this. What would Tony Romo's director's commentary for this movie sound like? Chris, you want to take a crack?
They're gonna fuck on the couch, Jim. Rock's in the other room. It's gonna happen. They're gonna do the deed. She's got progressive hearing loss, but she can hear it. Romo. What a tour for Romo. Yeah.
It's been great for him. Rocky's got cancer, Jim. This is going to be tough. This is a huge disease.
Refusing treatment, Jim. It's the wrong choice.
Got a new chemo, Jim. Half-ass Philly internet research. Victor's Cafe in South Philadelphia is our location for Adrian's.
Yeah.
Mighty Mix Gym is on Front Street. The place that Adonis and Bianca go to eat is a well-known place for cheesesteaks called Max. You guys know all this shit. Half-ass internet research, just a couple. At one point, Donnie wears a shirt that says, "Why do I want to fight? Because I can't sing and dance," which is an homage to the ice skating date in Rocky 1. Stallone was the one who wanted MBJ to wear the flag trunks. That was him being magnanimous. The gravestone for Paulie Panino, born in November 1940, died February 2012. Not sure if you guys caught that. Probably not a lot of people at the funeral, I'm guessing, for Paulie.
One robot.
One of the least redeeming characters.
A gravedigger and a robot. Yeah. Or a robot gravedigger, you know, if you wanted to.
A mostly horrible guy who Rocky just would not give up on. MBJ gained 24 pounds of muscle and learned to box. And then our guy who played Ricky Conlon, Tony Bellew, he won the WC Cruiserweight title
Oh, he is a fantastic fighter.
like 8 months after this movie came out by KO in the third round. It's a good YouTube clip. All right, Apex Mountain. Ryan Coogler, no.
no.
MBJ? Maybe.
Yes.
Probably.
What's the
Let's
alternative?
say yes.
It would be the alternative would probably be Black Panther.
It's this.
Yeah.
Coming out of Creed, it's like he could make any movie he wants. Tessa Thomas? Tessa Thompson?
No, I wouldn't say so.
What is it for her?
Not this.
Well, what is it then?
I just don't feel like this is her.
Not
deal.
her best work.
But Valkyrie? Like, what do you
Val-
think
could
is
be
like?
Valkyrie. Could
Yeah.
be like Valkyrie. I just feel like she's had more significant things than this. But
Chris, was Apex Mountain for Johns?
In cinema history, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about our guy Tony Bellew, probably winning the title?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's
Yeah.
better. Stallone, no.
But honestly, I had never heard of Tony Bellew other than this movie, so maybe it is
Yeah.
this movie.
oh, he's like great cruiser, like you said, cruiserweight. He had a great fight with Usyk, like a really great fighter, like one of the best.
This was my Apex Mountain for Polly, because I never liked Polly. HBO 24/7.
Yeah.
Could be.
I mean, they have some really great episodes of it, but yeah, this is
Considering Creed's going to be watched for the next 40 years, and I don't even know if 24/7's on anymore.
HBO boxing done.
All right, Chris, Philly movies?
So you
I asked
me-
Chris to come up with a Mount Rushmore for Philly movies,
Let me
so
go-
here we
Let me
go.
just do this because I spent a lot of time.
Let's
thinking
let Chris
about this.
cook. Get out of the kitchen, everybody.
I think my number one is locked up. I'll go in descending order. I'll go Sixth Sense, Rocky, Blowout, Trading Places, and then there's the number one with a bullet, and it's Super Bowl 52.
How dare you?
When he
Into the
texted me,
Harrison
he was like,
Ford.
come up with a Mount Rushmore for Philly movies. He's like, I fucking got a Mount Rushmore.
God damn it. Well, we won 6. Apex Mountain for Tone Trump?
God.
I think this podcast has been Apex Mountain for Tone Trump.
Shout out to my man Tone Trump. Tone Trump doing a lot of stuff in the community. Probably not. You know, he's
All right.
you know.
How about Max and Lampley?
They call so many great fights, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Any other Apex Mountains, Sean?
This is the Apex Mountain for Creed movies. It's also the apex for real boxers in movies.
Oh.
You have
I like
Tony
that.
in this one. You have Gabriel Rosado in this one. You have
Andre
you
Ward,
have
yeah.
Andre Ward. You have so many actual real boxers in the film. It's the Apex Mountain for that. They get good performances out of all of them.
All right, we're going to pick some nits. What was Adonis doing with his business job from like age 23
Yeah.
to 29?
I
What
had
was
this-
the job?
I had this for unanswerable questions. Would you let Adonis Creed manage your wealth? Because it's like he's working at like a financial services company, right?
Yeah, Donnie, I was trying to get a hold of you. Where were you? I had that stock. Oh, man, I was in Tijuana.
Again.
I have a broken cheekbone. Just kind of unexplained. You want to pursue this, Sean?
I mean, if you think about it, I would want my stocks to be traded by a guy named Don Johnson. Don's name is Don Johnson.
Don Johnson.
I mean,
Don
Donnie, but
Johnson.
sure, he's Don.
But he's Don.
It's Don.
I have a bunch. Chris, what do you have for picking nits? Oh, I'll save mine.
So midway through the movie, Rocky and Donnie are walking down the street, and Adonis, kind of out of nowhere, does a Marlon Brando Godfather imitation, but Talia Shire is in Godfather.
A beam cross.
Wow.
Little stream cross there. We kind of break the seal. I don't
Okay.
know. So she can't be in Godfather and in the Rocky movies.
You're the same person who likes Ocean's 12.
Sure, yes.
Van, what do you got?
This motherfucker just don't have enough fights, man. It's just not gonna happen. Like he just don't have enough ring time.
Yeah.
You know, going down there and doing this thing down there. I know his daddy was Creed and everything, but this guy's getting his brain rattled. He's getting fucked up. He just don't have that. That's the biggest nitpick about the movie. Even though Francis Ngannou kind of made it reality, but that's the biggest nit. He just don't have enough fights. He getting killed.
Yeah, my nitpick is about boxing in Tijuana. How does that work? You just go down there and you're like, I'd like to box. I'd like to have 15 fights.
Actually, strangely, yes. Like dudes in the gym be like, "Yo, man, I'm going down to Tijuana this weekend." Like you pay somebody $5,000 or $10,000, and some dude will jump out of a cab into a ring and give you a third round knockout. Straight. It's facts.
This is something you did?
No, never.
Ringer podcast? Should we start covering Tijuana boxing?
Tijuana Nights.
I have a nitpick. Sly recovers from cancer and flies to Europe like 3 minutes later.
Yeah.
It's like the tubes are still coming out of his arms, and he's just on a cross-country flight,
Yeah.
ready to train a boxer.
Everything just happens really fast in this movie.
What? Bianca's in the locker room with them pre-fight. They weren't dating, then they were dating, and then all of a sudden she's back right before the fight, and then she's just in
I
the
think he's
locker room.
like, I know one person in Philadelphia. Would you like to come watch me box?
Okay.
And you think she shows up and it's like, wow, this is a very like VIP pass. Like I'm in the locker room.
Ricky Conlon is just out of shape in the big fight.
But he's about to go to jail.
He's got a gut?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
this is a HBO fight.
Yeah. He's got a glass jaw, too. Took a shot, went down.
Ricky Conlon, overrated?
Overrated.
And then my last one is just the makeup guy for Donnie's left eye. It's like where his cheek is.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they did it that way. It always bothers me. What else do you have, Van?
Man, he just changed his last name, said fuck his mama. You know what I mean? Like he had his mama's last name the whole time. He changed it for the fight. I was just kind of like,
He went Creed Johnson Creed, some hyphenate. You know?
Did he?
Yeah, because both names are on the shorts.
Oh, I didn't pick up that part.
It would have been a
I
weird
was like-
movie if it was Creed-Johnson.
Yeah.
That would be the movie. Creed Johnson.
Any other pick and nits?
At the end of the fight, after the result, and Conlon's like, wear that name with pride, do you really think Donnie would be like, respect, thanks? Like, they've exchanged some pretty harsh words with each other.
Yeah,
about-
boxing's weird.
Bro.
They always forgive each other at the end of the fights.
but he looked at him and said, "You're the future of this division." Like what? They don't be that cool.
How long is his stretch? Like how long
7
will he be
years.
serving? 7 years?
Yeah.
For one gun?
I
It's,
think
it's England though.
England as a
Yeah.
normal country, and then also
Yeah, right.
yeah.
It was the only gun in England. Yeah. He had the one gun.
It's like an old revolver that he found, yeah.
Next category is sequel, prequel, prestige TV, all black cast, or untouchable. The Rocky series checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We rarely get that
Have
one.
I told you about my movie? My movie idea for this?
What is it?
Okay, so here's the way I look at it. All right, so you never just have one bastard. All right? Like
That's actually the title of Van's upcoming book.
yeah, my memoir. So you never just have one bastard, right? If you have one, you normally have like Sean Kemp, 5, 6 of them motherfuckers, right? So my idea is Adonis Creed is the Nick Fury of assembling a team
Of bastards.
of all of
Yeah.
Creed's bastards, right?
Yeah. Inglorious bastards.
Inglorious bastards. And so you think about the scene. I'm gonna say the scene. Interior boxing gym. There's a young man sitting down, Terrell. He just went 10 tough rounds. Out of the shadows, Adonis Creed steps in like Nick Fury. Son, you've just stepped into a world and you have no idea how deep it goes. It's 3 girls, it's 2 boys, the Creed bastard boxing team. Whole limited series.
Right.
Are you watching that, Bill?
It's incredible. I'm in.
This is a movie that had a sequel.
Yeah.
2 sequels.
A couple of them, and more to come.
Just one Oscar. Who gets it? This is a tough one for me. Probably Stallone.
Coogler.
I think Coogler.
Ryan, right?
But Coogler would have to beat some crazy people in that category that
There's like
year.
a 10% chance at best that this movie was going to be good. Like in almost anybody else's hands, this movie would have sucked. Everybody doubted
Yeah.
that it would be good
No,
before
you're
we
right.
sat down to see it.
All right, you changed my mind. Is this movie better with Wayne Jenkins, Danny Trejo, Catherine Hahn, Steve Buscemi, Sam Jackson, J.T. Walsh, Michael K. Williams, Byron Mayo, Harling Mays,
Tony
Joel
Romo.
Embiid, or Philip Baker
Grant
Hall?
Olson. Yeah.
What do you got, CR?
What if Wayne Jenkins was present during the original training, like in the little backyard? He was like, "God damn, Rock! I didn't know I was working with old McDonald. What the fuck does chasing chickens have to do with being the light heavyweight champion of the world? We gotta update your training manual, man. Get you some Andrew Huberman videos. Now let's go fight Pretty Ricky before that guy goes away a long fucking time, big boy."
It's a great bit, Jim. The Andy and Red Zwane Award, what happened the next day? Well, unfortunately, we know. It was Creed 2. Probably unanswerable questions.
Can I ask one for the crowd here?
Yeah.
So let's just say this is taking place in 15, right? Eagles go 6-9 last chip season. 10-72 Sixer season. Would Creed save your life? Like, would Creed honestly give you a reason to get up in the morning if this fucking kid came out of nowhere and was fighting? It would be the biggest Philly sports story of the year. It would just be like unreal.
This isn't related to my CR take about this movie, which is that Creed does the reverse CR, which is that he goes from Los Angeles to Philly to Liverpool.
Oh,
Which is what your family has done over the arc of
Bizarro
time.
Creed.
Liverpool, yeah.
Bizarro CR. Where the fuck was Rocky Jr. during the chemo?
Vancouver.
It was in Vancouver.
His dad is getting chemo. He has cancer. He's like, the Canucks have a big series coming up, Dad. Can we FaceTime? An asshole.
Flights are expensive, Jim.
You think it was like a Milo Ventimiglia? Like he was busy with This Is Us or something?
He could have made a cameo.
Yeah.
Did Tone Trump delete the picture of him and Donnie after the fight or keep it? Because they did take the picture. Did he put it on the gram?
I have no clue. I should really call him, man.
I think he puts it
I
on the
should
gram.
FaceTime him right now.
Did he put it in a folder along with the photos of him and Bianca?
Is Adonis Creed the most successful outcome of the process, Chris? Same era,
It's about to be like
2015.
January 6th up in here.
What? It was same time. That was when you had Robert
Yeah, I know.
Covington and no. Any other unanswerables?
How much money does Marianne have? What? How?
The
Apollo
only thing we
died
know
a
is she
long
lives in
time
a
ago.
giant dark house that has no lights on ever.
So like, did Adonis grow up rich?
I think he did.
Silver
Yeah.
spoon.
Yeah.
Right, but that's what Ricky says. He doesn't know shit.
Well, I mean, but let's just say, like, everybody seems to think that he's come from privilege, right? Like, that he's come from, like, a pretty good
I
background.
mean, she had the big house and stuff. I mean, I guess Apollo made a lot of money, and then
But he had all those bastards that you were talking about, you know?
Yeah.
He had to pay for all them.
But I mean, obviously they wouldn't cost him no money.
Oh yeah, maybe she took Rocky's money. What's the best double feature choice with this movie?
I go Field of Dreams.
Dickstown.
Diggstown.
Dickstown. Honey Royal Palmer.
I like Fat City.
I'm going Rocky 4 first. Rocky 5, Rocky 6 never happened. We go right to Creed.
Okay.
And it's perfect. It works out great. What piece of memorabilia would you want from this movie? It's obviously the trunks. I mean, it's always the answer is always the trunks in a
I would
Rocky
like
movie.
that giant metal weight that they press on his face to make the swelling go down.
The inswell?
see
Just
what-
to have it
Yeah,
on
just
Sundays.
to see what else we could get up to with that. Yeah.
I like the Mighty Mixed Jim's poster too. You like anything you would have taken, Sean?
That Mustang.
That was I was gonna say. The Mustang is cold.
Coach Finstock Award for Best Life Lesson. Don't let someone make you feel like you were a mistake, which is a pretty great theme. And then who won the movie?
Well, that's the only lesson we can't.
Well, it's just that was the best lesson.
The best one?
Well-
mine is obviously hit it raw. Don't wear condoms. Because if Apollo had done that, you don't have a
good.
movie.
We were ending with Field of Dreams and don't let anyone tell you you're a mistake.
He wasn't a mistake. He lived out his legacy.
Who won the movie? I have Coogler.
I do too.
What do you have, CR?
I have Stallone.
It's probably got to be Stallone for me. Because
Stallone?
What do you
All
guys
right, that
think
means
is
the
the
audience
tiebreaker?
decides.
Stallone?
Coogler or Stallone? That sounds like Stallone.
Kind of split decision.
All right, everybody get out your pieces of paper. Write down your answers.
Yeah, well,
someone
we'll
will come
wait.
around and collect them. Count them up later.
All right, we're done with the podcast. I have a Philly question though. So who's in pole position now of the 4 teams? Who's most popular? Phillies are 1? Phillies 1, Eagles 2? Eagles 1. Can we do a crowd noise to see who's... All right, how many people say Eagles?
You're in hell.
And how many people say Phillies? Wow. See, I didn't know this. Sierra never tells me anything.
Have they put that felon Chase Utley in prison yet?
And And Bryce is the guy right now? All right. Those are my Philly questions. Hey, we loved coming to see you guys. Thanks for coming out. Hope you had a great time. Thank you, Philly. And thanks to the Home Depot as well. Good to see you guys.